was listening to one of your little Facebook Live posts. You were talking about mentorship. What's that look like to you? Because I love that. That's my pet baby. I love the fact that we can try to assist and mentor those who would like to be assisted.
Yep. You know, there's different levels of, I guess, what we call mentorship or leadership. And you know, you really sort of have to question your personal why, your personal reason of why you're here. And you know, for most of us, you know, you can say to somebody, well, I'm here because I want to help people feel better. Okay, well, that's a nice bedtime story, but no, go beyond that. Why are you really here? Well, if I think about it, you know, maybe I was injured and I had somebody that helped me. Okay, well, that's nice also, but let's go a little bit further. Why are you here? So thinking about why you got into this and how you get into this and that kind of stuff, that leads to what your path sort of is. So, you know, I've got my reasons as to why, we've all got our reasons as to why we're in this profession, why we're helping people. But you can only do so much. And, you know, we have our patients that say, oh my God, if we could just clone you, you know, there's not enough hours in the day for me to refer all of my people to you. You need to clone yourself. And it gets kind of stressful because you want to help everybody, but there's, you know, you got to go home at the end of the day because you're tired. And I had a lot of therapists in my office where I knew I could, you know how you can sort of like, you can see the potential in somebody. They can't see it. And that's what I wanted to do, is that I want to challenge those around me in our office to exceed the potential that they thought that they had for themselves, because I knew that they could help more people. And I wanted to see them take the reins and mentor others in our clinic also, or others who get them into teaching and so on and so forth. So, you know, there's a lot of these one-off continuing education courses where you go and you take a course on the shoulder and then you're done, or you go and you take a course on the foot and then you're done. And I thought, well, you know, that's kind of nice, but I want to go beyond that. Again, you know, like there's the saying that success is determined by what you do after you do what's expected of you.
Wow.
So let's go beyond what's expected of me. Okay, so what's expected of me? What's expected of me is to teach a one-off weekend course. Okay, well, I don't want to do that. I want to take a group of people and I want them to dedicate themselves to a year. And in that year, we're going to meet once a month or once every 2 months. And we're going to go through, you know, a 1 or 2 day course on the shoulder. And we're just going to like rip it apart and go through everything. And then a month or 2 months later, we're going to come back and we'll move over and we'll do the thorax. But we're also going to touch on the shoulder, and we're going to keep in contact with one another. And if we need to email back and forth, or if there's patients they're having a problem with, then bring them into the office. We'll tag team them together. So we work as a cohesive sort of unit.
That's perfect. Yeah.
And if you look at, I've just forgotten his name, but he wrote a book called The 5 Levels of Leadership. And, you know, for example, the first level of leadership is that somebody wants to follow you because of what your status is. And then the next level of leadership is somebody wants to follow you, not just because of what your status is, but because of what they think they can gain from you. And then it breaks it down to the ultimate level of leadership is when you have led others, and now those others are leading the same in a way that you have in order to advance, and so on and so forth. So
and I think that's ultimately that's the goal, isn't it? I mean, for me personally, that's my goal. The work that I teach then has an ongoing support group, and then we try to meet, and it's as interactive as I possibly can get. So I totally agree that and I like that you're working with like, I'm going to take you for 12 months if you want, and then you accelerate their capacity to, like, it might take 3 treatments, then it'll drop it down to 1 or 1.5 treatments to get, so you're upskilling the speed of their ability to treat. Yeah. No, love it. Love it.
And then the mentorship thing, you know, it's not just that year. You know, I do a lot of things that other therapists don't like me for, in that I will allow somebody to, you know, come back a couple of years later. Okay, well, I was part of your mentorship group in 2016. I need to retake this because I'd forgotten it. Well, then come into the class.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, just come on in, but I'm going to utilize you as a teacher's assistant.
Oh, that's a good idea.
You're not going to be a student. You're now going to be my TA.
Yeah.
I'm not going to charge you because you're working with me. But you know, you learn more by teaching. So.
Yeah, that's a great model. There's a college here, Q Academy, used to be Australian Institute of Massage, and any student that goes into there, they can repeat that module, that unit of study forever. So, you know,
awesome.
if you can't, if you've done your anatomy and physiology, or you've done sports injury management 1, and then you go, oh, God, then yeah, they're happy to have you in there. And it's like, that's a capacity for a good school to support their students.